right, we will start off with Mike.
Hey Brad, how's it going?
Morning, Mike.
Good morning. Um, Having Austin, Brady, and Cade come back, knowing that you have guys that can play multiple positions but are competing at the center position, how have you kind of gone about judging that competition, especially in the early going, or at least setting out your goals for that position in general?
Yeah, I think in the spring you let the you let the chips fall like with reps. You try to make sure that they're even and getting enough reps. At leading the charge as the center. With the ones or with the twos. But then the real stuff comes up in training camp and preseason when you can actually play padded football. So you get these OTA practices and mini camp where you're hoping to see guys mentally engaged and working the technique. And they all are, that whole group. There's a reason why all of them are back. They've all been locked in and ready to go. So we're excited to, we think there's healthy competition at every position, center included. And then we're excited when the real ball comes alive, when you put some pads on and you see who runs with it and takes it.
And then you have three draft picks who are all pass catchers. How have they done, along with the undrafted guys? How have they kind of gotten invested in the playbook and asking questions and in meetings and kind of how have they shown their enthusiasm to you and their I guess their work ethic?
It's funny. I had a morning presentation on enthusiasm to the whole group this morning, but we bring the guys in the building that fit the mold of their approach to the game. Obviously, you want to be a skilled football player, but like these guys, their approach has been professional since day one. And they got great resources in Rob Moore and Keyshawn Coleman, who we added to the group, helping them out. And they've taken advantage of every single piece of extra time. You talk about hitting the jugs after rookie mini camp. Hey, coach, how long are they going to stay out here with the jugs machine? All those guys really helping each other out too, which is really cool to see out of a rookie class, whether it's the running backs jumping in their room and them helping each other out, the tight ends and receivers working together. They've really kind of bonded, and which is a fun group to work with and see, as we incorporate them with the full team and these OTAs and mini camp, how do they mesh with the full group? They've done a great job so far. It's just you keep feeding them a little bit more every day, and you see, okay, is there going to be a rookie wall here? These guys are preparing to avoid that rookie wall altogether, and I think they're doing that together, which is a lot of fun to see. A little bit of camaraderie between the rookie class.
Thanks, Brad.
Yep.
All right, we will go over to David, followed by Joe.
Hey, Brad. Good to see you again.
Morning, David.
Morning. So, wanted to ask you, what does T-Mac bring to this offense that maybe was missing last year?
T-Mac, he does a phenomenal job of being friendly to the quarterback in every route he runs. So you talk about shaving the top of routes on in breaks to out breaks and being a hands catcher. He does a great job in that, right? And I think he's just another element to this group of guys that, when they're playing confident, that you have to take advantage, of defenses that are not, pushing coverage towards one individual or the other. So I think that's what we're most excited about. He is a true pass catcher. He's got the whole route tree under his belt that he can run, and we're just trying to keep him up to speed with the rest of the guys as we push the envelope on how much they can handle.
And we talked to Xavier yesterday, and he was even saying it was a great pick. How have you observed Xavier handling the addition of another first-round pick at receiver? Because, receivers typically have the big egos in the league, and he seems to be handling it really, really well. And things. What have you observed to make you feel like he's really handling it well?
Yeah, I think it goes right back to the personalities we're bringing in the building. We did a lot of homework. Dan and Brant and Dave do a great job and all the scouting department do a great job of identifying personalities that fit our team. And then, they couple with all of our advice too, is that who's the player and catch us up to speed to who the person is when we're doing draft evals. And we brought in a really cool group of rookies that's really hitting the ground running. So I really do think that the camaraderie they're building together as a rookie class is also being felt by the vets as they come in. Like these guys are serious and they're going about their business the right way, which is just going to help them, catch right up to speed, when we hit, real football here in the fall.
And my last question is, what's your level of confidence in Bryce now compared to this time last year and even after week 2 last year when he was benched?
Not necessarily looking back, but for Bryce to be on the second year of the same offense, I think it would show with anybody. He's got great command, and he's working on those next steps. We talk about, it's not about the words we're saying anymore, right? We're not teaching him what vocabulary is. It's teaching him the whys. It's teaching him the theatrics within a play. And he's done a great job. We only have one practice under our belt, but utilizing cadence, understanding the whys behind the motions, the splits, and helping get guys aligned. All that stuff, he can start to drive the ship for others and get guys where they need to be, because it's not new to him. So we're just blessed to go into a second year. For me too, I haven't been in a second year of an offense in a couple of years as well. So it's really cool to push the envelope of those details with all the guys, and Bryce is doing a really good job of pressing into those details.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Brad. Good morning.
Morning.
Wondered when you got the sense that y'all were gonna have to let Tommy go ahead and have that back surgery.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that he's still dealing with the back, and we just leave that up to the medical staff of just, hey, give him all the information he can to make the most sound decision. Not something to mess with, and I'll never act like I'm a doctor myself, but whatever gives him peace of mind moving forward. We love Tommy. He's back in the building with us here today. We love his presence around the building. He's a great guy who just carries that torch of who we want to be personality-wise, celebrating each other. And we have a couple of guys like that are dealing with injuries. Like Jonathan Brooks is here in the building. They love the guys around them, and it shows when they have to make a tough decision for their own health, that they still want to be here. They still want to be with their guys. So just appreciate his eagerness to just be with us and continue to grow with us as we build this big picture offense, and he's a big part of that. And whatever he's got to do to get back on the field and feel secure about his back, we're in full support of it.
And thank you for that. Related to that, now, how big a burden or added responsibility now falls onto JT and Mitchell? Yeah,
it's funny. Last year, JT, he got thrown in the fire when Tommy and Ian, they went down early in camp, and here comes your rookie, right? Here comes your rookie getting all the reps, and he benefited from it. So his maturity just spiked right away. He's coming into a year two as well, where you see a different guy when it comes to, hey, I know what the route's called. Like, what am I going to do versus these different coverages? I know, what the protection call is. How can I best position myself to execute the block? So he's doing a great job of also pressing into the whys, like we were talking about with Bryce. And then I think Mitch and some of the other young guys that we have in the room, they're going to experience some of the same things that JT did when guys go down. Like, you got to be ready when you're called up, and those reps are invaluable, especially when you get 9 off-season full-speed practices and then a handful of training camp practices before you're playing against another team. They're going to feel it right away. Like, okay, I only get so many of these. Like, I gotta go ahead and hit the ground running, be ready, be on my mentals. So I'm going full speed.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, we will go to Darren, followed by Deshaun.
How you doing, Brad?
Morning, Darren.
When Bryce was talking yesterday, he used the word wrinkles, talking about new stuff coming into the offense. Where do those come from? Are those things that you and Dave have in your background, things you kind of knew you wanted to add year two, or do you kind of pick and choose things from other places too?
I think the first thing you do is you read your players and you see, how much can they handle, like what's giving them hiccups and what's worth pushing through, right? What's worth continuing to invest in and what's worth moving on from. And then what was our calling card last year? What did our guys hang their hat on? What was on third down? What was Bryce asking for? What were the receivers asking for, the tight ends? On third and short and goal line packages, what runs do they want run? And then how do we protect the core of who we are? So what are those plays? How do we protect them with motions? How do we protect them with alerts and things of that nature? And then presenting it to the players of like, okay, here's our plan going forward to protect the core, and here's things that we want to add to the core to become a big piece of who we are. So those are the big 30,000 feet view full group meetings that we have where we're saying, hey guys, here's some stuff we did great at last year. We want to continue to invest in. We want to grow it a little bit more with these little wrinkles, but then also here's some other wrinkles that might help us protect that, going forward.
Has there ever been a moment where you're like sitting around in January watching a playoff game and you see something and it's like, yeah, we could add that. We can
Absolutely
incorporate that into.
Will Harriger says it. This ain't a hobby, right? So when you're sitting, the one thing about being a coach is that it ruins your ability to be a fan. You watch a football game now, and all I'm thinking about is personnel, alignment. What are they running here? So yeah, you sit and you watch a game. I don't watch many sitting next to my wife because she's cheering and I'm over here analyzing, writing things down. So I don't know how much enjoyment she gets out of sitting next to me. But for me, it's always R&D. When a football game's on the TV, there's some great research and development that you can find at all levels. We have every now and again college coaches coming through, and you get to pick their brains about what they're doing on their level. So, yeah, I really think we're all hands on deck when it comes to, okay, what fits who we are? Have you guys seen anything in the offseason as you've gone and watched, draft prep's another one. You watch a lot of college tape of draft prep. What can apply to the offense that we're trying to build going into the next season, and then what's worth the investment.
Thank.
Brad, good morning.
Good morning.
When Xavier was speaking with us yesterday, good morning again. When Xavier was speaking yesterday, he mentioned sitting down with Coach Moore and I believe yourself to go through film from last season. I'm curious who initiated that and what have you seen him do with that information?
Yeah, we a combination of us asking our position coaches to always check in with all their guys postseason. Dave always says these guys are going to leave for their break and come back in the spring different men. There's babies, there's marriages, there's moves, maybe permanent moves to Charlotte. There's off-season plans, trips. So checking in with them just after the season and then when they come back for this spring, that's kind of a part of who we are as a staff, as a developmental staff. Myself included, being a first-year coordinator last year, it was hard to touch base, on a face-to-face level with everybody because there's a big number. But our position coaches do a great job of sitting with everyone. And then there was a handful of guys that I wanted to make sure, you just build them up going into the offseason, building them up with confidence, building up and seeing the positive things they did and then things that they can work on. And Xavier was a great one. You bump into him in the weight room and you say, hey, let's take a minute. And he's like, let's go right now. When can you meet? And we go through and we watch all his targets, a bunch of his plays, and just a guy he's super receptive to everything, the positive and the negative. He internalized it, and when he came back this spring, you see the bubbly personality coming to life. That just shows you, okay, he's put in the work to feel confident about who he is going forward, and we couldn't be more excited to have him in that mental state as we go through this spring.
I could follow up quickly on that. You used the phrase build him up, and even Dave mentioned seeing more of a smile from him. Did you feel like some of that was lost after his rookie season?
No, I don't think necessarily lost. I just think rookie seasons are hard to prepare for anyone. They go straight from a long college season into draft prep, running a straight line and jumping high, doing things that are not necessarily football activities. And then they jump right into an NFL team, learning the offense. They have an extended summer program. So there's no chance for them to breathe. So they really don't come up for air until that first offseason after the first year. So for him, I just wanted to make sure when he gets that chance to go back to Mullins, to go check on Dollar Bill and his horses, that he's in the right mindset and he's confident going into year two, no matter what happened. I would do the same thing. After he has a stellar season, is making sure he's checking in with everybody. Everybody understands, like, hey, here's what we saw coming off the season. Here's where we want you to be, coming in the spring as we can build off of, what you just did.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, and we will finish off with Mike Solarte.
Morning, Coach. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Mike?
Good. Following up on X, has your ability to understand him improved from year one to year two?
All of us have. I was really amazed. Bryce was running RVAs with them yesterday, and they were going back and forth. No problem. It's just it takes a little bit, no, but he's great. You can understand what's funny when somebody comes in with a heavy accent. We got another one. Jimmy Horn's got a heavy Florida accent, but they're so football smart. You know exactly what they're trying to tell you, even if you're not listening. Like they're on it. X came in a weekend visit for us in the draft process, and he sat down and he talked football with us for a couple hours, and he can just spew out natural football stuff. He understands the game. So it's in there. You just got to take a little bit of time to slow your own ears down and hear what he's trying to say to you.
And following up, this is not an attitude question about Bryce. What is his involvement with the offense now in terms of going into year 2? Are you adding more responsibilities? Is he more involved in terms of structure of what you guys are trying to do? Being the steps that he took in the back end of last season, going into this offseason, is he getting more on his plate in terms of maybe being another coach on the field for you?
Yeah, absolutely. He gets to echo our points, and we get to echo his as well. We see as this, when you have a starting quarterback, you're walking alongside them, right? You're not necessarily pushing them forward into the fire on their own, or you're not necessarily pulling from they're behind and you're pulling them along like a dog. Like, no, you're walking beside them and you're learning from them. He's learning from us as what we need to dive into that core that we're talking about earlier of what we're trying to become as a full offense. So Bryce is doing a great job of echoing some points, but then also saying like, hey, let me let you know like how I feel about a concept, how I feel about a route break. And then I get to, fortunately as a coordinator, you get to be a bridge between position rooms, which is a lot of fun at times, where we might be in the quarterback room talking about, hey, I was really expecting him to do this. And then I can pop out. I can run over to Rob and tell his receivers like, hey, Bryce is thinking this. And at the end of the day, like if the quarterback, if it fits with the mold of what we're trying to accomplish as a whole, if the quarterback wants something to feel good about throwing a ball, you better bet the receivers are going to do it, right? The tight ends are going to do it. The running backs are going to do it. So it's a constant communication and investment in each other, the relationship. That's a huge piece of us being a developmental staff. Is you got to develop that relationship with the guys so they can free flow, communicate like how are we truly feeling, being authentic about maybe a new play we're trying out that works out or doesn't work out. So that communication has been awesome.
And last one on that point, is that something that you've seen kind of in his progressions as a quarterback, not just on the field? Is that something that has kind of grown over time in working with you? Obviously, the start of last season was tough, but we're not in the rooms and we're not in there to see how he's interacting and doing those things and I guess taking more command of the offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, he's not learning the word. He's not learning what the words mean this year. He already knows that, and he processes so fast that a big piece of it is making sure I don't miss the moments of when he's trying to tell us something, on the practice field of how he reads out a play. Hey, Bryce, what are your eyes here? You just enlighten me. Why are your footwork a little bit different on this one than the other? Enlighten me. So either we need to change something, that needs to be changed, or just so we all have like the vision of this is how he sees the play. If this is something that we want to go forward with, we just need to know like the whys behind it from both sides. So what does the quarterback see? What does the OC? What does the developers of the plays on the front end see? And then how does that all mesh together to build, one train kind of going forward together?
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach Idzik. Appreciate you taking the time.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Have a great one.